delighted that we do have a motivational speaker today, and it is Joanne Gray. I had something planned, but I think she was worried about what I was going to say about her. So I didn't bring my notes, but I'm just going to tell you some things that I have observed about Joanne. She is not a braggart at all. Not at all. And in fact, when she started coming to church more, I learned more about her. I had a different read on Joanne. I thought she was this really quiet little mousy person. She's not. She's full of fun. She is very talented as far as speaking, acting, singing. Please help me welcome Joanne Gray as she reveals to us how love has 6 letters. Now you'll see how much more polished she is than me.
Eleanor does pretty good. Thank you, Eleanor. And good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to be here with you today at this Glad Tidings Tea at 2. I want to thank the ladies of Glad Tidings for inviting me. Even though I didn't find out until after I had committed that this is not just an innocent little tea party in the church basement. No. This is a spring fling. When I found that out, I got a little scared because I've never been to a spring fling before. It sounds kind of wild and crazy to me. So I did what most uninformed people do these days. I Googled it. Did you know that spring fling is also the name of a movie, a running race, a college dance, a tennis tournament, and a German car show? When I found that out, I relaxed because I thought, hey, a tea in a church basement with that range of meanings will fit right in. Today's topic is love has 6 letters. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Joanne, don't you know how to spell? Poor Franklin, he thinks that's Canadians. We just have to. It is my goal to persuade you this afternoon that there is another way to spell love using 6 letters. And we will not be playing Wheel of Fortune. But first, let's talk about the word love. Love has been the main theme of scores and scores of songs, books, plays, and movies since there were people on the earth. So it's no wonder that psychologists say that the most basic of all human needs is the need for love. Would anyone here agree with that? I would agree with that. And sadly, the news reports are telling us every day that there are more and more people of all ages around the world who are not receiving the love that they need. Depression, violence, promiscuity, and suicide are only some of the ways that these love-starved people are trying to cope. But what can be done about this huge global problem? How can single individuals like you or I possibly hope to make any kind of a difference? Because none of us has the ability to completely eliminate all of the social ills in this world. That's the job of Jesus when he returns. But in the meantime, we do each have ample opportunity to inject a little bit of love into every life that we come into contact with by spelling the word love with these 6 letters. And please call them out when I unveil them because there may be some people who can't see. Finally, the mystery is solved. Now, why do I say that listen spells love? I say that because listening is a very powerful expression of love. And by the way, those same 6 letters, when rearranged, can also spell the word silent. Now, I'm not talking about the casual kind of listening that we need to do when a stranger walks up to us and starts talking about the weather. The kind of listening that spells love is that fully focused listening that gives desperately needed attention to someone experiencing a deep, intense emotion like grief or anger or even joy. People with this kind of emotional intensity are going through a critical time, and it is a critical time for our relationship with them when they are going through that. I like to call this kind of listening pure listening because the speaker is speaking and the listener does nothing but listen. Ears open, mouth closed, that's it. Sounds simple? Actually, it's not, because most of us have deeply ingrained habits of wanting to give advice or judgment or even encouragement to someone who is not ready to hear it, because they are so full of their own stuff at that moment. Their emotional tank is full to the brim, and even though we mean well by giving them more, they resent it because they feel we're not listening, we're not helping them empty their tank, which is what they need to do at that moment. Now, thankfully, pure listening is as easy to learn as 1, 2, 3. But before I get into that, I'm going to now ask a question that is going to seem completely unrelated. But you'll find out soon that it is not. And here's the question. How many of you have ever heard of the slogan, stop, drop, and roll? Anyone? Okay, a few of you, not everyone. Well, it's time for everyone to learn. Stop, drop, and roll is a catchy, simple phrase that is taught all around the world to young and old alike, so that in the unfortunate circumstance that someone catches fire, that their clothes start to burn, that they will know what to do. There are videos about it, there are songs about it. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. When your clothes catch on fire, stop, drop, and roll. Why teach stop, drop, and roll so proactively? Because when your clothes catch on fire, there's no time to think. You need to do the right thing right now. Your mind needs to automatically jump to something that is so simple and so basic that a child can remember it and do it. Oh, my clothes are on fire. What do I do? Oh yes, the 3 steps. Stop, drop, and roll. So you stop, you drop, and you roll. And it works. You have put out the fire. You have saved yourself from serious injury and possibly even saved your life. That's how important it is. Now, the 3 steps for pure listening are very similar to stop, drop, and roll. And they are stop, drop, and aim. And I will explain them all in detail in a few moments. They are to be used in exactly the same kind of urgency as stop, drop, and roll, except instead of using it when your clothes catch on fire, we want to use stop, drop, and aim when we find ourselves next to someone who has a burning emotion, grief, anger, fear, joy, intense emotion. Because that is a time that is critical to them and our relationship, and we need to know what to do right then and there, because they can't wait. I lost my spot. Unlike stop, drop, and roll, however, which has the purpose of wanting to put that fire out as quickly as possible, the purpose of stop, drop, and aim is not to put out that emotion as quickly as possible, but to be there to support the person while they are going through and dealing with this very strong, powerful, intense, and sometimes scary emotion. To let them know that they are not alone. When I was a widow and living alone, I had a small home business which involved clients coming to my house occasionally for me to do a procedure. I did ear candling at the time. And once in a while, a man would call up and want me to do this for him, a man I'd never met before. And that made me a little uncomfortable because, men are typically stronger than women, and this strange man could potentially harm me. But I wanted the business. So what I did was I called my girlfriend, Vicki, and explained the situation and had her come over a little bit before the man's appointment. I introduced them to each other. I would begin candling the man's ears in the living room, and Vicki would go off to the kitchen and putter around, wash my dishes. She wouldn't interfere. She didn't interrupt. She was just there. And I felt so much safer. Having her just be there while I was spending time that I needed to spend with this potentially dangerous, harmful person. He could have been as harmless as a flea, but I didn't know. It meant the world to me. She was my safety net, and I loved her for doing that for me. Pure listening is like that. It's a safety net that we can provide for a person who is experiencing and needing to deal with a potentially dangerous, harmful, scary, intense emotion that they are not comfortable dealing with alone. Perhaps they could have, but they don't know. And having someone just be there with them, not interrupting and not interfering, is what they need and what they will love us for doing for them. Imagine that you are casually having a conversation with someone about sports or about your family, and there's a lull in the conversation. Then you look up at them and notice there's tears in their eyes, or their teeth are clenched and their fists are tight. If you didn't know ahead of time that when you come across someone with a sudden burning emotion, that the thing to do is to stop, drop, and aim, you could do the wrong thing. You could injure their spirit and your relationship with them very easily by perhaps patting them on the shoulder and saying, "Oh, don't worry, everything will be okay." Or, "Oh, look at the time, I gotta go, bye." Or, "What do you expect me to do about it?" All of these reactions devalue the feelings of that person at that moment. And when we devalue someone's feelings, we devalue that person. It pulls them down. If we really care about people, if we truly want to follow Jesus' example, who came not to serve, but not to be served, but to serve, we won't want to pull people down. We'll want to lift them up every chance we can. And pure listening lifts people up. Anyone who wants to can learn how to do the 3 steps of pure listening. All it takes is remembering it, the 3 steps, and then practicing them over and over, and we will all get better the more we practice. Now, to help us remember the 3 steps, first of all, I have created a very short, very childish song to help us remember, because it's so childish you can't forget it. And I would like to teach that to you right now. So please repeat after me. Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim.
Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim.
When you see a burning feeling,
When you see a burning feeling,
stop, drop, and aim.
stop, drop, and aim.
Okay, there's more. Stranger, friend, or foe,
Stranger, friend, or foe,
simply watch the flame.
simply watch the flame.
When you see a burning feeling,
When you see a burning feeling,
stop, drop, and aim.
stop, drop, and aim.
Very good. Hot Cross Buns is the tune. So I'm going to sing it once. So join me if you can the first time, and the second time I expect everybody to give it a good try. It goes like this. Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Stranger, friend, or foe, simply watch the flame. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Okay, everybody. Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Stranger, friend, or foe, simply watch the flame. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Very good. We're going to practice that again before we're done. Now, why be so proactive about teaching stop, drop, and aim? Well, because when we're with someone who suddenly is experiencing a burning emotion, it's very important to do the right thing right away. There's no time to think. Our minds need to automatically jump to something so simple and so basic that a child can remember it and do it. Uh-oh, she's starting to cry. What do I do? Uh-oh, he's starting to get angry. Now what do I do? Oh yes, the 3 steps. Stop, drop, and aim. So you stop, you drop, and you aim, and it works. You have prevented injuring that person's spirit, possibly saving their emotional, even their physical lives. Because we don't know how close to depression, violence, promiscuity, or suicide a person truly is inside. Our interaction with them could be what makes or breaks them. We don't know. That's how important this is. So now let's take a closer look at each of the steps. Step number 1 is to stop. Stop? Stop what? Stop whatever you are doing. And stop your mouth. Imagine you are cleaning out a closet when your spouse comes to you looking upset. They have just found out that their favorite uncle has been tragically killed in a freak accident. When you hear the news, if you then continue sorting through the closet while your spouse is standing there in shock, how much support are you being for them? Or if you leave the closet and you start talking nonstop about freak accidents or about the uncle or asking question after question after question, you're not helping. His emotional tank is too full at that point. Your spouse would get more help from an antidepressant than from you. But if you turn away from the closet, turn towards your spouse and wait quietly for their grief or their reaction to come out, even if it's silence for half an hour, that's okay. What a difference that will make. Your spouse will know that they are not walking through this dark time alone. The closet can wait, your chatter can wait, and your spouse will feel loved. So step number 1 is to stop. Physically stop whatever you're doing and physically stop your mouth from moving. That's hard for some people. Step number 2 is to drop. Drop what? Drop your plans, ideas, and opinions completely. Temporarily, but completely. Let's say that you love cooking. Now I know some of you will need to use your imagination for this part. And you have just found this amazing recipe in a magazine and you're starting to get it to prepare it. You're so excited. And your 13-year-old son comes stomping into the kitchen, pounds his fist on the table, and says, "I hate school!" Well, you know enough to stop peeling your vegetables. So you sit down with them at the table. You know enough not to talk. And you listen to him. But while he's talking, your eyes keep moving over and darting over to look at that magazine that's open on the counter because you're just itching to get back to it. How likely is it that your son is going to feel understood and valued? Hardly. In his explosive state, he'll probably stomp off even angrier and kick the cat on his way out. But if you mentally drop your own agenda of making that new recipe, realizing it's only for a short time, you will be able to easily close that magazine, sit down, and give him your full attention. And if while he's talking, you suddenly have a brainstorm and think, "Oh, I know what he can do to solve his problem," or "This kid is really not all there," it's okay to think those things, but don't let your face or your body let on to him that you are thinking that. What you want to communicate to him without words at that moment is that you want to understand what he is saying and feeling, period. The result? A huge burden will fall from his shoulders because he will feel understood and accepted. Your son will feel loved. So step number 2 is to drop your plans, ideas, and opinions. And you can always tell your son about the thoughts that you had while he was talking later, after the heat of the moment is well over, if you still want to. And don't worry, those vegetables, they'll still be there. And the cat will thank you. Step number 3 is to aim. Aim what? Aim what at what? Aim your attention and your heart exclusively at the person that you are listening to, as if you were taking a video of them. Let's pretend that your favorite sister and her family are coming to visit. You haven't seen them for over a year because they live so far away. And when they arrive, your 7-year-old niece comes bursting through the door ahead of her parents. "Auntie, Uncle, look at the new outfit I just got." At the exact same time, your brand new puppy is startled and knocks over a potted plant in the middle of the living room. When you see the mess, if you immediately race over there to clean it up, how's that 7-year-old going to feel? But if you purposely decide, when you see the mess, I am not going to deal with that right now, I'm going to focus on my niece. If you do that, she will sense that she has value and worth. When your sister and brother-in-law walk in, they won't even notice the mess because they'll see you smiling and nodding and bending down to her eye level and feeling the material on her sleeve. Who knows, when your niece grows up into a teenager, the memory of this event and others like it could be what keeps her from looking for love in all the wrong places, because she will already feel loved. So step number 3 is to aim. Exclusively aim your attention and your heart at the person you are listening to. Ignore those distractions. Pretend you have blinders on. Now those are the 3 steps. Okay, class, let's see if you can name them off. Step number 1?
Stop.
Number 2?
Drop.
And number 3?
Aim.
Very good. Okay, we're going to practice our song again. Let's say the words together first. Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Stranger, friend, or foe, simply watch the flame. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Okay, now let's sing it nice and loud. Stop, drop, and aim.
Stop, drop, and aim.
When you see a burning feeling, stop.
Drop and aim.
Stranger, friend, or foe, simply watch the flame.
When you see a
Burning feeling, stop.
drop and aim.
Give yourself a hand. Very good. Mormon Tabernacle Choir, watch it. I'd like to conclude by asking each of you to think back to a time in your past when you felt very happy, or angry, or afraid, or sad, and you could not find one person to listen to you. Remember how that felt. Now, think back to another time when you were very happy, angry, afraid, or sad, and you did find someone who sat down and listened to you exclusively until you were finished talking. some of you have never had that experience, but you can imagine how that would have felt. Wouldn't it be great if all of us could improve our listening skills to the point where we can pass on that feeling of being loved to others every day? How would that change our families, our church, our world? Anyone and everyone can make a positive and lasting difference by using the 3 simple steps of pure listening. So the next time you're at a bus stop, or having lunch with your friend, or attending a spring fling of some kind, keep an ear and eye open for someone who is having a deep, intense, burning emotion. Because what they're really saying is, give me some love. And remember that you can spell it out very clearly for them using 6 letters. If you will physically stop whatever you're doing and stop your mouth, temporarily drop your ideas, plans, and opinions, and exclusively aim your attention and your heart at that person. In short, to love others through listening, stop, drop, and aim. 3 steps and 6 letters that spell love in any language. Thank you for your attention.
Stop, drop, and aim. Stop, drop, and aim. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim. Stranger, friend, or foe, simply watch the flame. When you see a burning feeling, stop, drop, and aim.
Give yourself a hand. Very good. Norman Tabernacle Choir, watch it.